Can the Europeans get back to that 3-game advantage? Or can this man here, Bill Hoffman, reduce it to just 1? First to 18, remember? Wins what all the ball bowlers are calling the Ryder Cup of 10-pin bowling. And it means a lot to them. You talk to them, they're not mucking about, they're playing for their country or their continent. It means something, doesn't it, Richard?
It sure does.
Hoffman starts off with the strike. A happy bear.
It seems to me that carry is getting much harder in this session, and the one who gets the best carry is probably going to win this, because they were both hitting the pocket remarkably well in their previous matches. And there's Bill in a world of his own, just closing his eyes.
He's not falling asleep. All these fellas, though, jet lag is par for the course. I mean, all the Americans, apart from Tim Mack, were in Argentina last week. Tim Mack was in Korea, flew in specially for this. But these international top-class bowlers, they zip around the world, and they're used to catching sleep wherever they can. Here's Thienpondt, who was in Thailand last week at the World Cup. Very heavy indeed, and frankly is lucky to get away with that.
And this delivery had split written all over it, but he got a very, very late 7. Big break for Europe. Relatively easy spare now.
Just lacked conviction at the foul line, didn't it, somehow? And it could have been so much worse.
And we're getting towards the end of the session now, and Nico might well be finding that the lane's a little bit drier than when he last played. Needs to make an adjustment next shot. Easy spell though.
Damage done.
And Steve Thornton sitting right beside his fiancée, Carly. No doubt discussing his previous match.
I'm sure they've got something better to talk about than that, Richard, let's be honest. Here's Bill with his very different stance. Leans right in, sort of twists in, doesn't he, to the right, and then delivers a strike. I might get you to talk about this fellow's action a little bit, Richard. I mean, what is he getting from that kind of twisting action that he favours at the foul line?
Well, he's developing. He's got a bit of a left-hand drift, much like Torgerson, but nowhere near as pronounced. And he does it to open up his shoulders, because he needs to throw the ball out on the lane, and because he covers a lot of boards, gets a lot of revolution. As you saw there, he got that ball back from a long way. Hit light, but there was good mix on there.
What was it you said to me one day? Show me 10 bowlers, I'll show you 10 different actions. And you'll see a very different one here from Thienpondt. The bounce down the lane, there's the big swing.
Well, if Nico did adjust, it was perfect, because he's got the perfect result, strike, really good pocket hit.
Not much backswing from Nico either, he's a big fella. Hoffman has the double.
Looking to increase his lead to 20 if he can get a turkey here.
Didn't look to be an awful lot wrong with that. He's not been lucky there at all, and that's a tricky little mini split he's left with. You'll always see the funny side.
Well, this shot didn't look significantly different from his previous shot. Hit in more or less the same place, but this time he doesn't mix all 10 out, and he's a bit unfortunate perhaps to leave the 8 pin with the 7. This is a pretty tricky spare. He's got to hit both pins with the ball, and that's not easy.
The look as if to say, you got to be kidding. And I looked at Nico as if it was his fault. Tough one this. Got to be absolutely spot on. Nope. Open frame. He was a little bit unlucky there, Hoffman. And I think he knows it was like, that was a what do I have to do look, wasn't it?
Yes, well, you do get these freak leaves sometimes. And I think it was Tor Torgerson left an 8-10 off of the mixing hit, which is a very, very unusual leave. Certainly from the hit that Torgerson made.
So can Thienpondt jump all over his opponent with the strike?
Well, Nico's failed to get the ball back to the pocket sufficiently here. Hit the head pin very, very light. And he's got half of them. Now he needs to get the other half. This is not easy. The danger pin is the 7 pin. And possibly the 5 pin. If he hooks it too much through the front pin, he could chop and leave the 5 pin standing.
In other words, this is tricky.
Fraught with danger.
Never looked right at it at all.
He's hit the front pin way too thin and never really threatened that spare.
Both of them with cause to forget frame 3. Nico in particular, that was he was all over the place then, wasn't he?
Yeah, really needed to hit that front pin a lot fuller in the face than that, and to stand any chance of the spare. But if he had, he was risking one of the 2 pins that I was talking about, the 5 or the 7. So it is a tough spare.
Not too much damage done though, just 10 pins the advantage. Both of them were frame and back in the groove is Bill Hoffman.
Bill not relying on mix this time. Look how solid he is at the foul line. Really good balance.
So Bill's back. What about Nico? He didn't look at all convincing in that last frame. Got what he deserved. You just got to bounce straight back from something like that. It's a real pressure ball for him. Much better from the Dutchman.
Nico was looking for this one all the way. No surprise that this one struck. Look at Nico's eyes there. It's not what you call textbook. He's looking down at the floor. He's not really looking at where he's trying to throw the ball, which is...
It looks like he's fighting the lane to me. He doesn't look entirely comfortable out there at all.
Well, he's, you know, with the exception of that that loose shot where he took the 5 out, he's not been too bad.
Hoffman had a double to start off with. He doesn't get another double here because the 10 had other ideas. There's the usual grimace and the shake of the head, and talking to one of his teammates there in the crowd.
Yes, it's Dino.
Dino Castillo can help him.
Dino had carry problems of his own in this previous game.
You never quite know what's going to happen on these simple spare balls. We've seen a few missed. Now that one was pretty close. Bill says, yeah, I meant that one. But that was a bit too close for comfort.
And he's been lucky here and he knows it.
Ooh.
Wow. You just can't hit it any thinner than that, I don't think. You see the ball's actually falling into the gutter as it hits it.
Practically gave that pin a shave, didn't he? So a strike here gets Thienpondt right back into things. There it is, on its way. There it is. There it is, game on. Right into the pocket.
Well done, Nico. It was important to get a double to get back into the match there.
the irony is, we saw in the last match Dino Castillo having all kinds of problems with those edge pins as well, and now Hoffman, who's looking directly at Castillo in the crowd, is having exactly the same situation.
Yes, I think Nico's favourite to win this match at the moment, just based on the fact that they're both hit in the pocket pretty well, but the difference is when Nico gets there, he tends to get all 10 down, whereas Bill's now left 2 single pins in the pocket.
That's the spare.
Whereas Nico's had 3 pocket hits and struck with every single one.
It's much more convincing on that 10 pin this time. He didn't just shave it, he just knocked it out dead centre. But it's interesting that Hoffman is talking to Dino Castillo in the crowd, because he's having exactly the problem that Castillo had in that last match. Now, Thienpondt on a double. Turkey here really does put him in the strong position. Still some movement, but it's not going to knock that 7 pin over. I'll tell you that for nothing, Nico.
Now you see, he didn't quite hit the pocket as flush as before. I don't think he got the ball quite wide enough, and it just drifted a little bit on the oil and didn't finish quite as strongly as the previous 2 shots. I've been going in front of the 7, showing that the ball didn't really hit as strong as he'd have liked.
This is a nasty one. Just got to get it. It does. That could have been a tricky one. Maybe it looked easy. Well, well, well. Thienpondt and Hoffman are neck and neck now. Bit of a nail biter this one now. Let's see what happens to those edge pins this time. It's the 7 and the 10 we're looking at, especially the 10 for Hoffman. That's the one that's causing him problems. And he's done it again. And now he's having another look at Castillo as if to say, hey, what have you done to that pin? I don't think Dino's done anything, but Dino had all his problems with that pin as well.
Yes, it's another good shot from Bill, but he doesn't look like getting at that 10. And I think the secret is that Nico is getting the ball to come back to the pocket from wider on the lane than Bill. And I think that's why he's getting the carry, because the ball's just finishing a bit stronger into the pocket.
He's sparing well, but
I feel if Bill could just move a little bit to the right and get the ball finishing from a little bit wider on the lane, he might well start to pick up that carry too. But it's so difficult to move in a single game when you're hitting the pocket.
Well, look at that, 3 in a row, and the 10 pin has stood up and confounded the man from Cleveland. And so once again, Thienpondt has an opportunity to sneak ahead for the first time in the match. Here in frame 7, a strike will do it. It's called the bucket, if I'm correct there.
That is correct, Nick. He left it earlier on with the 7 pin, and because the 7 pin isn't standing, this is a bit easier than the one he left earlier on.
But even if he gets the spare here on the count, because he just got 6, he's going to be behind now. So that was an expensive one from Thienpondt.
Yes, if you're on a spare, it's important to get a good count. Otherwise, they can hurt you big time.
Got out of it, but he slips behind. He's 3 adrift now. As a result of leaving the bucket.
That's the perfect spare, and if he'd hit that bucket with the 7 pin standing there, he probably would have spared it. But he's probably just learnt a little bit from the ball that he threw earlier on, and made a little adjustment and made that spare look a lot easier.
Here's Hoffman. Well, bad things happen in 3s. He's had 3 where he's left that 10 up. Surely not another. Well, I just don't believe what I'm seeing. And I don't think Bill does.
Well, the thing is that Bill's ahead in the game, and so it's fraught with risk if he has actually got the ball to come back from wider there.
No,
but he's still left the 10.
No roll, nothing. I mean, it's like the gods have said, Bill, that 10 is not going to go down for you. I'm a big believer in the 10 pin gods, Richard, because they're always against me. Got it.
Just a bit more convincingly. And that one where the ball's actually fallen into the gutter when he had it earlier on. I still can't believe it took it. It looked like it was a miss all the way.
He's mystified at this, Hoffman. And so it's another opportunity for Thienpondt. He's found strikes very tough. They both have just 3 apiece.
The thing is, as long as Nico doesn't strike, Bill can play safe in the pocket and probably run out the winner.
Exactly.
So he doesn't want to move around too much looking for carry.
There you go. Nico's made his move here in frame 8.
Well done, Nico. Just letting Bill know that there's the potential there for a double, which would get him back in the lead. Just applying a little bit of pressure to the American now. Just the 2 pins adrift, but he's got a strike working, which Bill can't reply to. So Bill needs to carry badly here. Will he try something different, or will he stick with just the same shot?
Balance of power shifting once again, perhaps. There goes the 10 at long last.
Well, they look pretty much the same shot to me, so I think he was just trusting to the fact that sooner or later he must get all 10 down if he keeps hitting the pocket.
Yes, there's no doubt with that 10 this time, was there?
Can Nico steal the lead at a crucial point in the game?
A strike here puts the Dutchman marginally in front going into frame 10. He's been hanging around and hanging around, and he's left it late, but he's timed it right. Double for Thienpondt. It wasn't convincing. A couple of very lazy pins went down there, but they went. And look at Nico's face. Says, come on, help me out. Give me a break. Yes.
Yes, he's happy with that one. He's just got his nose in front now. And assuming that he doesn't make a mistake in the 10th and just stays clean, forces Bill to find a double here.
Very important ball this. Oh, well, it had to happen, didn't it? That 10 has had Bill Hoffman's name on it.
And if he hasn't tried to find a way of carrying, he's reaped the reward there, because he's paid the penalty if he's just tried to play safe and with the same shot. It's difficult to read what he's tried, because he may have tried a small speed increase or decrease, and you just can't see that from up here, so can't be too harsh on him, because he may have been trying to find the carry.
That's the spare, but 5 frames out of 6. And the 10 pin has refused to go down. We can get 193 with a strike here.
Nico's currently on about a 201, 200 if he doesn't strike.
It will have to be.
Count on the full ball not really important to the outcome of the match there. It's just a question of whether Nico can avoid making a mistake here.
He's not had the luck here, is he, Bill Hoffman?
No, he has played pretty well. Only he knows really whether he's gone looking for the carry or not. If he didn't, he's paid the price.
Well, can Nico wrap it up here? This is where you want to be, with your destiny in your hands. So away, and that should do it for Nico Thienpondt and Team Europe. Anything barring 2 balls down the gutter, and that's it. If Nico Thienpondt bowls 2 balls down the gutter, I'll take over for him for the rest of the tournament. That's how confident I am.
Well, that's an easier prediction than saying you were certain of a strike.
That's the safest prediction I've ever made in my life. There you go.
Well, it's looking comfortable for Nico now, but it was far from that. If you just look at the end result, it's going to be 220 to 190, and you think, okay, had an easy match.
Yeah,
but the reality of it is that the match wasn't over until Bill failed to strike in the 10th.
Nico was behind all the way to the 8th. So Nico Thienpondt signs off with a 219. He came from behind to beat the very unfortunate Bill Hoffman, who had to settle for 192 after all those problems with the 10-pin. And the bottom line is another point for Team Europe. They now lead in this battle for the Weber Cup, 7 points to 4.